Hello, creative spirits. Welcome to another episode of Your Creative and Magical Life. I'm coming back to you today to revisit a conversation from a previous episode. As you've noticed, this is a part two. And if you haven't listened to part one, that would probably be helpful, but I'll review a little bit here. But you're getting me at two moments in time related to making a decision and how the cards kind of played out or what I took from them, how it all shook out. So I'm going to give you an update and some reflections, some insights, some things I might have done differently in consulting the cards around a particular decision, hoping that this will help inform your tarot practice should you use tarot when facing a choice. So, in this last episode, the example decision was the renovation of a bathroom in my home, which had me very worked up about the cost outlay. So I was deciding whether to renovate the entire bathroom or all of the bathroom except the shower. I also mentioned that I'm intending to open my home to Airbnb guests, also for me as a source of additional revenue, and to share a space that I really, really love and have spent a lot of time with other people who might be traveling through and hopefully give them a comfortable, magical, peaceful place to land if they're coming through here. So, I was on the fence about whether to spend all the money to get the whole bathroom done or to scale back a little bit and just do everything but the shower because the cost difference was pretty big. And the full expense made me really nervous. That wasn't an amount of money I had sitting here. And when I did a tarot pull about it, I basically did two cards for the whole bathroom getting done and two cards for just doing part of the bathroom. So for the whole bathroom, and I know I feel a little strange talking so much about a bathroom renovation because who gives a shit? I don't expect you to give a shit about my bathroom renovation, but hopefully this is a helpful example, maybe as you again consider whether and how you use tarot in your own decision making. So, once again, the cards for redoing the whole bathroom were the Sun and the King of Cups, which appeared to be kind of the glaring kind of like yes answer in the cards because the Sun is a really radiant, playful, youthful, bright, powerful energy. And the King of Cups is the master of the emotional domain. I was kind of curious why cups were here in this bathroom decision. I would find that out soon. That was not obvious to me at the time. I mean, maybe it should have been because the money part was actually an emotional decision. I had feelings about that, right? So the Sun and the King of Cups. And we always, if you see those together, you're like, okay, this is looking good. And then for redoing just part of the bathroom, everything but the shower, I got the Two of Pentacles, this minor arcana card of like juggling things, holding things lightly, trying to kind of like navigate multiple directions simultaneously. And I had that along with the Queen of Cups. So the next door neighbor to the King of Cups, the Queen being a more internal energy, and the King being more of perhaps an external, outward facing energy. So at first, it appeared to me that the Sun and the King of Cups were like, yeah, do the whole bathroom. But the price my contractor was requesting for the full job was beyond what I could do. I just could not go there. So I told him, here's what I can do for the whole bathroom. This is my limit. And that was kind of where I left it. So the other thing I think I said in the previous episode was like, I think I implied that the Two of Pentacles and the Queen of Cups, while appearing to be less of a win, let's say, were still great energies. Like there was a lot of lightness. The Queen of Cups was a card that I had been seeing a lot kind of related to my business and the way I think about what I offer and how I serve and support people. So there was some familiarity with that energy. And yeah, the Two of Pentacles just made me feel like it was going to give me more flexibility. Like more pieces could be moving as a result of maybe like not spending or owing as much money to do the full bathroom. So when I spoke to you last, I think I implied that I was going with the not so obvious win cards. And after recording that episode, then there was this weekend where my contractor was like, "Well, what if we like do this and this instead? And like it would cost this." And I'm like, "No, I can't do that." And then he's like, "Hey, so what if I like this?" And I was like, "Yeah, no, I can't do that." And then we went through this a third time, and I was like sticking to what I said was my limit. And then my contractor called me and he was like, "Are you sure you can't? Blah, 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 blah." And I was like, "Yeah, no, bro, I told you." And he was like, "Okay, it's like Merry Christmas for you. I'm going to do it at your price." And I was like, "Oh shit." Um, so I said yes. And then he and I were in this dance together for another couple weeks. And that is where the King of Cups would really show up. Um, So, sitting on this side of it, I will say the bathroom turned out amazing. It looks so dope. It's really great. It looks super good. Um, it's going to like help me attract good people to the Airbnb, or I mean, what's a good person? I don't know. It's going to help me, attract people who like this aesthetic to this place. Um, Looking back on it, I think the sun had to do with partly the intensity of the experience. So while the contractor and his co-workers did an amazing job on the bathroom, like the quality was really impeccable, the interactions with my contractor were challenging. There were moments when I felt he was being really pushy. There was a time when I told him he was pushy, and he told me that no one had ever told him he was pushy before. And um, yeah, there was another moment where he surprised me with a new fee and said, "I hope this doesn't surprise you." And I said, "Yo, it does surprise me." And I had feelings about that. And then he kind of started yelling at me. And when I got off the phone, I felt like shit. And I had to like scream in my house because I was so upset. And at this point, my contractor had removed the only toilet and the only shower in my whole house. So I had to continue on this journey with him, or I was gonna have to like start over and find someone new and be out some money and spend more money and go find someone who could like pick up the job in the middle, and then in the meantime have no functioning bathroom. So that's where the King of Cups came in, I think. Like, I feel like he had some ability to sort of emotionally like I want to say manipulate feels a little bit strong, but the case could be made. Sometimes he was very charming and like, "I like you, I want to give you this deal." And then other times he's like, "I gave you this deal and you can't talk to." Yeah. So it kind of was a little bit. of an emotional roller coaster. And so I really had to like dig deep emotionally because there was this layer of feelings around the amount of money I was spending and whether I'd be able to pay it off. Or, I pulled the tower as like the theme of my year. Again, this house was built in the early 1970s and my pipes have never been replaced. So they're 50 years old. What if I renovate the whole bathroom and then the pipes break? And like, I just have to do it again. So I had these fears of like, what if I invest all of this and like nothing comes of it? Like very all or nothing thinking. That was one emotional layer. And then the other emotional layer was like, what was going on with me and the guy who was doing the work, who at times I really liked and at other times I found very difficult and very challenging. And there were definitely like power dynamics at play. I was doing this, my interactions, I was the only person interacting with him. I did not have like a man by my side to, like step up and swagger and like deal with this other man and like work out their man stuff. Not because renovating bathrooms is like men's business. I mean, it is in this world. Like, we're not training a lot of women to redo bathrooms or believing that women should be redoing bathrooms. Um, I'm going down a rabbit hole here, but all to say, I was interacting, me like, uh, a 5'6" woman by myself was interacting with this 6'2" guy who works out um and who had removed the only functioning toilet and shower. So there was like a power differential at times that I felt got exploited. Anyway, lots of emotional um holding for myself that I had to do. I had to really like dig deep emotionally to do this bathroom renovation, something I didn't plan on. So that's where I saw the King of Cups happening with the sun being like that intensity of the experience, but also the sun, I think, being like a really beautiful bathroom that people are going to be like, this looks good. Um, so that's the direction I went. That's the choice that I made ultimately because my contractor came back with with another offer that worked for me. So I want to say, I don't know. I mean, maybe I recorded the first episode too soon, but I think it's also interesting to sort of like check in over time and see how things play out. So, a couple things I would do differently having done it this way is that facing another important decision again. And I said this last time, like tarot isn't the deciding factor, right? Like initially I decided I'm not going with the like big shiny pair of cards. I'm going to go with like the softer, easier way for me. And then something changed and I changed my mind. We can all change our minds. That's the other thing. But tarot was sort of a way to like check in, but it was not the determining factor. And I think another key thing in all of this, so key, so crucial, is that you have a good relationship with yourself in terms of making decisions. Like, you believe that you can make good decisions for yourself. You believe that you can make a decision and then make the decision work for you, even if it's not turning out exactly the way you want. Or trusting yourself that if you make a decision and it really doesn't go the way that you want, that you can recover from that, that you can hold yourself and honor yourself in that, that you can learn things from the process so that you're not by the end of it just like, I fucked up. I made the wrong decision. I'm so bad at making decisions. I regret this. I'm going to regret this forever. Like, that's not going to help you. And if we have that more like insecure relationship to decision making, then the cards can either create further confusion or become something we blame or distrust because we like followed them, but then we don't like how things turn out. So, in terms of making decisions, it's most important what you think and like how you feel about it and what you want to do. And this one was really hard again because I wanted the whole bathroom. I was like, maybe I should do the whole thing right now because like prices are going to go up or there's going to be another ice storm where I live as there was 3 or 4 years ago and like everyone's pipes are going to break and then contractors are going to be in such demand that they'll be even more expensive. So I should just do it now. Um, but at the same time, I was like, it could still be like a perfectly good bathroom with the old shower. Like, it's not great, but like, it's fine. I can still Airbnb it. I don't think people are going to be like giving me shitty reviews because of the shower, right? So I could really see it both ways. And the stakes also felt really high if I thought about it a certain way, if I just focused on the money or if I focused on these bad things that could happen. So I wanted tarot to come in and sort of give me a little bit more. But I also knew that ultimately it was my choice. I consulted other people close to me, and got their advice and thoughts and factored those in or didn't, you know. Um, and here we are. So were I to do it differently, I would conduct a slightly different reading. Like I would also ask, I might ask, like, what can I expect if I choose this option? And what can I expect if I choose this option? I would also ask other questions related to the circumstances. So, like in this case, I would have asked, what's it going to be like to work with my contractor? Maybe in this choice versus this choice, or show me some information about the timing of doing this option versus this option. I might have also asked about like, what do I need for myself to support myself, which is, of course, a question I could have asked later. Um, but I might have just done like a bigger picture thing, perhaps. And that's something I recommend doing is to not do exactly the like this option, that option, and leave it at that. You can. I mean, maybe that's exactly how I was supposed to do it. Here I am with a nice bathroom, and my first Airbnb guest is coming tomorrow morning. So maybe that's how I was supposed to do it. But another way you can do it is to, especially if you're not sure about the two options you pull cards for, then definitely seek a little more clarity in other areas and kind of dig into the different sides of the circumstance, the situation. I think that also forces us to think about and brainstorm and sort of prepare our minds and our experience for the different aspects of what's involved here, like the other person, the relationship between both of you, the timing, the yeah, all of these things, any other things that feel relevant. Maybe I could have pulled a card to ask what my house wants me to do. Does it want the whole bathroom redone? Does it want something else? As I've been getting ready for opening the house to guests, I've really been spending more time as I'm, sprucing up the house, tidying, making it more beautiful, getting little extra things to make sure this window has a curtain or replace this light bulb or, like whatever, all these little things here and there. As I'm going through that, and especially also as I'm working in the yard, it's springtime. Oh, and I think in the last episode, my option B to just do the partial bathroom also included my mom coming and like helping me do the garden, which I got anyway. So that Sun and King of Cups also feels like this like mm, having it all. I don't want to speak too soon, like knock on wood, but getting to do both and also feeling the joy of being in the garden with my mom, which is like incredibly real, like super joyous for me. So, working on the yard after she came, like we cleared out a lot, but then there was like a lot more for me to do and things to put away and kind of like hide in the garage and stuff like that. And I spent the other day outside moving things around, watering newly planted seeds, etc. And just really like feeling a connection to the land, to the house. I don't have like a lot of land here. It's, it's a city-sized property. Um, but I've lived here for 15 years. I've had this house for 15 years. Thanks, Obama. And um, it means a lot to me. It's seen me through a lot. We've been together through a lot. I've grown a lot. Um, I've had some partners come and go through this house. And so I really want to like be in good relationship with the land. That's something I've been working on for a while by growing native plants and by cultivating habitat for the birds. I have a lot of birds that come to visit. And also just like the care, trying to take care, trying to maintain, trying to make it beautiful. I'm a Taurus rising, so I'm pretty good at making a comfortable, lovely space. And the house really helps me with that. It feels like a partner in that. So I think I was going to say something about getting the yard ready. But yeah, as I had pulled a card that said listen the other day. It's from this money compass deck that I just got. So I've been pulling one card a day with a tarot card, and I got the listen card with the 10 of cups. And the version of the 10 of cups that I saw, there was this mama bird, and I actually think it was a couple of birds in the nest with like a brood of eight or 10, like a really, big family all together. And 10 of Cups to me also has something to do with presence and being alive to the world in the moment. And so I was outside trying to like really listen to the land and the house and the birds and see what came up for me. And so that's another thing that I could have put into the reading is what does the house want? What does it think? What does it need? So, you know, in this decision at the time, I felt a lot of urgency to make the decision because it's like if I sat on it and waited, then the contractor would take another job and I would have to wait a while. And I did want to get my Airbnb up and running. Um, So, in that bit of urgency, I just kept it really simple. And I think when you can slow down with a decision, do it. I don't mean drag it out and put it off, but let yourself have space to at least kind of brainstorm like the different factors and influences going into the choice. I think even just designing your own tarot spread or your own tarot reading for such a decision, no matter what the cards say, just you getting into the attentive, intentional work of mapping out the questions that you want to ask or the aspects that seem important to you will really plug you into some really strong decision making energy in and of itself. Because if we're not slowing down, our brains are just like, well, if this, then this could happen. And like, what if that and that and that? And then, your brain spins to the other side. And it's like, well, but this. It's really hard to like sort what voices are anxious and what voices are really kind of like true self inside of you. So going through the process of creating your own spread would really help with that. So I wanted to be transparent and give you an update. And again, the great news is that my bathroom looks dope. Nothing terrible has happened to it yet. And yeah, I've got my first guests coming tomorrow. And then within like a day of putting up the post on Airbnb, I also got a booking that that starts as soon as this first one ends and goes for a month. And both of these visitors have already messaged me to say they think they're going to be coming back through town later in the year. And they really like the look, the vibe that I put into my listing. And they want to explore staying at the house later on down the road. So, like, even the I think it's to, well, I won't say, but the people who are coming to stay for the month, like one of them in messaging with each other is using like cute emojis that I really like. So there's something, uh, the vibe is being transmitted and some cool people are picking up on it so far. And these two contiguous stays at the house are bringing in some money that I can use to pay off the credit card payment for the bathroom, which currently has no interest until like a year from now. So that's my ticking clock. Um, yeah, and I'm excited. I'm a little nervous, but I'm excited. And, if y'all are coming through Austin and you want kind of a cute place that's quiet and peaceful with lots of birds and a backyard and a dope ass bathroom, send me a message. We can work something out. So, thank you for listening. I appreciate you being here. I know it's been a minute since I put out an episode, partly because I've been working on the house a lot. And it's also felt really good just to be doing like physical work, not just be in front of the computer. I hope you're doing well out there. I know times are crazy and wild, and I'm recording this the day before the full moon and eclipse in Virgo. So I hope you're just holding yourself through it, taking it easy, not trying to do too much. If things are weird and wild, yeah, you can blame the moon. And you can also blame like actual people who are making it crazy and wild. And we can also take responsibility for how we want to respond to that and how we want to shape the world. That's what this podcast is also about. So I'm sending you a lot of love. Oh, let me tell you, I'm doing an in-person 3-day something here in Austin in April, the 11th, 12th, and 13th. It's called The Playground. And I've got a beautiful space rented. It's called The Workshop. It's very spacious. There's like a lot of room for us. It's kind of quirky and bright. It's run by a gentleman in town who's been a therapist for decades and who also particularly works with sand tray therapy, which is where clients will like use objects in a sand tray to represent parts of their life or their feelings or their situation. So it becomes this like, kind of like a tarot card where we look at some imagery to interpret things. Sand tray therapy works a little similarly. So in this space, there's a whole collection of things for sand trays, and there's like multiple sand trays we can play with and sand we can use. There's a classroom space. Anyway, I wanted to give us 3 days to really set aside time for creative exploration, magic making, visioning. You can come for 1 day, 2 days, or all 3 days. And there's going to be a sound journey, sound bath and journey. Becky Bullard, who was in the Hierophant episode, who is the goddess behind Democrasexy, will be doing a session with us where we're going to use this really cool deck called Our Tarot, which features women in history who are artists and activists and revolutionaries in their own way. We're going to work with that deck to find a guide and make a prayer candle. We're going to do some sand tray stuff. Yeah, so you can find it by going to typewritertarot.com. You'll see the playground up at the top. And yeah, check it out if you're interested. All right. I'll let you get on with your evening, your morning, your afternoon. Thanks again for listening. Thanks for being here. I'll talk to you soon. Bye.